18 tons, bang on, 18 tons, and with 5 parts to spare. So it would be an unmanned mission. Now, science-wise, if I try and take one of those, that's going to push us over, isn't it? We're going to need some kind of communication. Let's hope I can get that on. Yep, good. Actually, not that aerodynamics is an issue, but it makes more sense to put it on the underside. Actually, we need solar panels. And that pushes us over. That must be so marginal. Here we go. So that's solar panels, battery, slightly more fuel again. That might actually get us that last contract. Nothing else we want to be taking with us. So let's, again, can't call this the ignition, so let's call this the Jupiter. Save that and see if we can actually launch this thing. Let's get the staging right. That one, then that one, then that. Save that. Out to the launch pad. And let's see what that does. Okay, now we can't use SAS. No operational SAS modules. So we have the reaction wheels, we don't have any actual SAS module. So we're just going to have to play this one by ear. Thrust up to 100%. No pilot coming with us. This is the Jupiter. Here we go. We're off. We are stable. We're definitely going in the right direction. Let's make sure that we stay... Whoa! What the... What? How is that anything like what I just pressed? I did not press those keys whatsoever. Well... yeah, I wouldn't actually be able to collect the science on the moon. I was going for the moon landing, but yeah, the reaction wheel should have given me the directional control, but it just didn't. It just flipped out on me as soon as I tried to move. So so that idea didn't work. So it's going to have to be manned. I really don't think that this is possible with the 18-ton limit. And cancelling any of these is going to lead to massive penalties. Mission is transmit or recover science from the surface of the moon. Well, that one is, yeah, but we've also got land on moon, which is for 20,000 and 41 rep. That one is transmit or recover, yeah. And these ones is take a crew report, so they have to be manned. So yeah, it perhaps wasn't the... perhaps wasn't ideal. the way we did that. It is possible with the 18-ton limit, is it? How? How is it possible with the 18-ton limit? Let's reroute to here for the moment. So we can take that off and put a command pod back on it. You just can't come back. Well, yeah, okay. You are using super heavy and inefficient radial engines. Well, yeah, it was a way of possibly getting around some of the issues we were having. See, if we go back to the Faraway, which was our first successful, that just didn't cut it. How can we improve on this? See, ideally what I'd like to do is just add more fuel to the bottom of this. But I don't know if this has got the thrust to actually do that. I'm open to suggestions. Based on the technology that we have available. Is there somewhere we can do it with solids, maybe? They've got 315 thrust, haven't they? So they could push us. It's going to be a massive, long, cigar-shaped creature. That's overweight, but what does the weight limit give us? Where would we have to be? Oops. There. I don't know. Would that be better? $17.6 tons. We don't need all those solar panels on there, do we? But shave off a little bit of weight. Well, I can try asparagus, but is asparagus going to keep us within the weight? I suppose it might. Oops. I suppose with asparagus we could use a smaller engine in the middle, couldn't we? This one fell short just because it couldn't take enough fuel to get back. And I want it to bring us back again. And we couldn't land. We didn't have nearly enough fuel to land. We lost Jebediah trying to land on the moon with this. I did it with a central rocket and 2 LFO boosters feeding the middle and then ditching them. So Oh, take that off. So you're saying something along these lines. Actually, let's keep our part count down. Three stages in the middle. Right. See, the problem there is that you need to use these kind of guys. I know that engine can push more in the middle. In fact, even that engine could push more in the middle. That's heavier. How is the T45 heavier than the T30? That doesn't make any sense. It's got lower thrust. Oh, I suppose it's the gimbal that gives it the extra weight. Okay, so we don't need that. Scrap that idea. Whose idea was that? How did you manage it with 3 stages in the middle? I don't see how that's even possible with an 18-ton weight limit. So in theory these don't have to be particularly strong either. So what's the highest rated ASL? It's still these, isn't it? And they're still the lightest. But again, they can push quite a lot. But we're over the weight limit just with that. Thrust vectoring. So it'd have to be something like that. And even that's over the weight limit because of these stupid heavy engines. And they're less efficient in a vacuum. Less efficient in an atmosphere is what I meant. And they have lower thrust anyway. Oh, I've got an idea. Who said we need engines on the Asparagus? Because that's what's giving us a lot of weight, isn't it? If I do something like that, there's still 23 tons. Even that's 18 and a half. How are these things so heavy? Can't see how that would possibly get to the moon. I'm not using any mods simply for the challenge. I want to see if this is possible in vanilla in hard mode, which is quickly looking like it might not be. Um, Well, you ditch the moon for as long as you can. Minimus is far easier to land on, get some more science and money upgrade. Yeah, but I've already accepted the contracts, that's the problem. I agree that perhaps Minimus was not the best target. I can't believe it, that's put me over the weight limit. No, I wanted to see if this was doable in completely vanilla. Absolutely 100% vanilla. No info mods, no nothing. Yeah, see, we shouldn't have gone for the moon so early. That is the mistake that we made. And that was through pressure last week, people saying they wanted it to go to the moon. What do we think? I mean, will this actually go to the moon? No, actually, what would make more sense? No, too heavy. Okay. There we go. I don't know if that's anything like enough to get to the moon, but we're about to find out. K we're up to. Yeah, it's probably not going to come back. We need, let's think, we need a craft name beginning with K. Let's save that. Let's get our staging right. We're over the weight limit again. I'm going to bring that down. Fix the staging. I don't have high hopes for this one. We don't have a pilot either. Let's go and hire another pilot. We're up to Kerry. We're up to our maximum of 5 active Kerbals because we've got 2 on assignment. This is going to be interesting, isn't it? We're getting very close to being stuck. We might have to call this playthrough a failure and have a look at starting again in next week's stream. But let's find out if this thing can take us to the moon, and at least we will be learning from experience. It certainly does add some new depth to the game. These new changes that they added in 0.90. I'm looking forward to 1.0, the next release, because that will have all the atmospheric mod in it as well, atmospheric update. So here we go. Let's see if the Kerbin can take us anywhere near the moon. Oh, someone got timed out for shouting. Sorry about that one, Sticky Keys man. Moobot's a bit sensitive about loud noises. Here we go. Kerry Kerman taking us hopefully to the moon. Let's see if this thing will actually get there. Ooh, it's heavy. It's taken off though. been super spoiled by mods. I don't want to build without knowing at least the stage delta V. Yeah, well, that's the point. I've been quite spoiled myself because I've been doing these live streams with mods, and I've been doing my Colonising Kerbals series with mods, and I just figured, well, you know, the average person playing KSP doesn't use mods, so perhaps I shouldn't be using them. I wish they would have added clouds before 1.0. I don't think they're adding clouds. It would be nice. It could be one of the you know, the secret extra features that they're going to add without telling anybody. They are overhauling the atmosphere. Clouds kind of come under the atmosphere, so it's possible. I don't think they're going to, but we'll find out. How are these doing? Okay, we're nearly at the point of staging. We're also nearly at the point of turning. Looks like the two of those might coincide somewhat. Here we go. Wow, bang. Okay, that's the stage, and here's the turn. We're a bit slow on our turning. But that's not a bad thing, actually. It needs for a fairly efficient turn. Hey there, Sticky Keys man. We can see you again. You have been unblocked by Moobot now. Bring our thrust down. Take a look at our apoapsis. 47. Going well. We are indeed through the soup. We could drop our thrust right down and come down. Here we go. 56. Yes, definitely more efficient fuel-wise, that was. And that was a very Yoda-ish sentence. Efficient on fuel, that was. Perhaps this is now outside of the atmosphere. Why am I using such a shallow ascent profile? Because I am. I like to get my orbit at as low an altitude as possible. We are now in space. Let's get ourselves horizontal. .45 degrees at 7k altitude is better. Really? Oh, there we go. Used up the fuel in that stage. I agree. Turning before 10k isn't really ideal. Unless you're using atmospheric mods which give you lift. Which we are not. Oh, we're almost in a position for a direct burn. Not quite, but... $73. Yeah, we're gonna just burn straight to the moon without doing a complete orbit this time, I think. So fuel-wise, this has been a very, very efficient burn. Lower thrust to weight. Lower thrust to weight means turning later and higher. Thrust to weight, higher thrust to weight, turning earlier. That's how I do it at least, but I'm not too talented at KSP. Lower thrust to weight would be a slower launch, which would mean turning later and yeah. This was a relatively low thrust to weight launch. I suppose that's kind of a matter of opinion to a certain degree, but right, let's come around our orbit very slightly more. Out there. Yeah, so let's get ourselves lined up and we will start burning Munwood. Permission to post a link. What would that be a link to, Mr. Magoegi? Magoegi? Magurgi? Magurgi? Ascent profiles. Ah, okay. Well, I can give you permission for that one. Hold on, bear with me a second. I just need to get my... There we go, you got permitted, just about. Just as I was sorting out my... cutting my burn. Well, we have... like a third of a tank of fuel. And we have done our transfer burn, so let's see where that leaves us. Okay, so we have a high periapsis again, not quite as high as last time, but actually a high periapsis is better because, and it's on the dark side, which is good, because we can now burn and aim for a potential landing. Let's get ourselves retrograde. And burning. We may actually have enough fuel for a landing. I don't think we're going to have enough fuel for a landing and return. There we go, we are in orbit. Now, do we try and get... Yeah, we're going to try and get that as well. So... $7,000 meters. No, we're not gonna get that as well. So let's Closer to the moon, the more efficient you can make a landing. Closer to the moon, the more efficient you can make a landing if you don't want an orbit. Right. Yeah. Well, do you mean on the initial approach? I'm not too sure quite what you mean there, but how are we doing? Where are we? I mean, it's certainly easier to land on the moon if you're closer to it. Landing on the moon from a distance is quite tricky. You know, I'll give you that one. Let's keep an eye on our radar altitude, I think. Hoping we get over this kind of lumpy section of the atmosphere of the moon before we start our final descent. Here we go. We are descending now, so we're going to have to start. Yikes, okay, we were going too fast. Oh man. Well, that's the tightest I've ever cut that. Well, we landed on the moon, guys. Whew. That's the fastest landing I have ever done. Wow. Sorry, I'm just taking that in there. That was heart in the throat moment for a moment there. I couldn't have burnt a more efficient landing if I tried. Yeah, sorry about that one. Volcanics Moobot didn't like the shouting. I appreciate it though. 20,000 funds and 41 reputation for that landing. I deserve more reputation than that for that landing. Did you have a hidden suicide burn counter? Yes, most definitely. Yeah, there's not enough fuel for us to get back into orbit. We could possibly get the actual Kerbal into orbit. We can't EVA, so we can't actually get a surface sample, which is a bit of a pain. We can definitely get a crew report though, which is 18 science, and we can transmit that for 100%, which I am going to do, which means technically we've completed this mission. There we go, 118,000 science, 376 added by our strategy, 150 reputation for that, plus another 13,000, 27 science and 20 reputation for recovering science. My goodness, we actually did make it to a moon landing with 8 units of fuel. Whoa. Why are we... Oh no, that's alright. The electric charge is going up. I thought it was going down then. Oh, that's a new follower. Muguigi, however you pronounce that. Thank you for the follow and welcome. Now the question is, can we get this thing back into orbit? We could potentially get it into a small orbit. I don't think that is going to be the case. We might be able to get it into like a 7,000 or 8,000 meter orbit, but pushing it. Might be able to get the Kerbal itself into that orbit, but that's a bit harsh. So we're better off leaving it where it is, but the problem is we don't have any pilots left. We're not going to get him back home, that's for sure. And we've got 50 science. Yeah, he's not going anywhere, is he? Let him EVA home. See, we can't EVA because we haven't unlocked it yet. Issues. So that daredevil landing did indeed complete the mission for us, but we are still stranding a 3rd Kerbin at the moon, and we're only allowed 5 active Kerbins, so we're down to Bill and Bob. We've got 433,000 funds now. We need 520 to unlock the larger launch pad. If we can unlock the larger launch pad, we've got no problems. I didn't mean to go in there. I meant to go to the mission control. If we can unlock the larger launch pad, we've got no trouble at all because we can send a decent lander. We can even send a recovery craft. Position a satellite. We could do that. Can do that for sure. 81,000 funds and 45 science. I can do that. Science from space around Kerbin. I can do that as well. Unfortunately, we can still only accept 2 contracts, and we need to complete that one, which we're not likely to do in a hurry. Could walk it. Wouldn't have the battery power though, would it? We could roll it. It's a long way to go. But it's below 9,000 metres. I could roll to it. Because we've got solar panels. We've got a reaction wheel, which means effectively we've got a rover. Not a very efficient one. Nah, it'd go around in circles, wouldn't it? Very tempting. Very, very tempting. I can get some science points for testing that landed at Kerbin. That's worth a do. Don't even know what it was, but I'm willing to test it. New craft. What was it? Oh, that one. Okay. Well, that's an easy test. So this is going to be pod test Charlie. Any of you guys can do that one, so that's fine. Launch that. That's some easy science points, which means we might actually have enough to unlock something. Because we've got 50 and that's worth 45, so... There we go. That was hard. 43, okay. 43 science points, 3 reputation. Easy peasy squeezy lemons. And we have 93 science. So, we can unlock something. Now, I don't think any of those engines are more efficient for what we need. They do have, that one does have more thrust. It's also considerably heavier than what... Oh, it's not considerably heavier, actually. Oh, it is, yeah. 1.25 and 3. So let's not try that then. Structural fuselage. Oh, a liquid engine. A jet engine. We could use a jet engine for the initial launch, which would take considerably less fuel, which would give us weight in the upper stages. Interesting theory. They're not particularly heavy either, although you do have to take them with air intakes, but they're not particularly heavy. I wonder. Because you don't need the oxidizer. They're very efficient on fuel within the atmosphere. Well, they probably would launch. They probably would overheat launching vertical, but they just need to get us started. They would use considerably less fuel getting us to 10,000 than the engines we're using to get us to 10,000. Which means we can put more fuel in the centre stage. And they've got a thrust of 150 at full tilt. So two of them would be more than one of those. Or would they just overheat far too quickly? Hey there, Doctor. Welcome, welcome. I suppose the other option is RCS with the little probe, and that would unlock the... Is that not the SAS? Does that not give us SAS anymore? It's just a stabiliser, is it? Didn't realise that had changed. For once, we're not actually fighting for science points. We are fighting for funds. And mission completions. And weight. Ironically. It's very tempting. It's very tempting. Either way, we could use that to build a plane. The probe gives SAS. Does it? What, this one? So it does. Okay. And that would unlock all the RCS as well. Oh my goodness. Right. Oh, I keep bashing the microphone. I really do apologise. I'm sorry. It's a tough choice. It's a tough choice. It's definitely a choice between these two. We can unlock the jet engine and try a jet-powered launch. I suppose in theory we could go for an SSTO even. Some kind of basic SSTO for it as well. We've got the cockpit. Or we go with the probe and the RCS. RCS would be useful for manoeuvring moon end. That's the lighter cockpit, isn't it? Yeah. No, that's 0.84. So that's still a heavier cockpit. Okay, I thought there was a lighter cockpit, but never mind. I tell you what. Sorry to disappoint you, but I'm not going to make this decision right now. What I'm going to do is I'm going to make that decision in next week's live stream. Because this is a tough decision and I want to make it right. So, let's have a think about it for next week's live stream. I mean, feel free to make a comment now as to what you think we should do. Advanced flight control or the aerodynamics. Do we want the jet engines or do we want the probes and the RCS? And what we will do is in next week's live stream, we will buy that technology and we will have a look at building up our funds to unlock our larger launch pad. And hopefully then we will have a decent lander. We'll be able to build a decent lander so that we can actually recover the Kerbals that we have stranded. We'll be able to complete that mission that we have to do the site survey on Mun, and we might even be able to build a plane to do some of the site surveys around Kerbin as well. That will be our plan for next week's live stream. So, to those of you who are watching on the Twitch channel, thank you very much for watching, guys. Please don't forget to follow if you haven't done so already, and I will see you guys next week. If you are watching this on YouTube, please don't forget to like, comment and subscribe so that you get notifications next time a video goes live. And it leaves me with nothing more to say than thank you for watching, guys. I will see you next time. See you later.